Welcome to a video from DisLifestyle.com. This is a new sound set for the Korg Modwave. This is a vocal collection. So this is a set of 34 performances, and we've got patches in there, programs in there as well. So we've got proper vocal samples in there. We've got Wavestation type vocal samples in there. We've got Wavetable style vocals, anything vocal related I put into this collection. So we've got a mixture of sounds in there. So the one that you heard at the beginning there is the double vocal one, which I really like, which kind of inspired this whole collection. So in this video, I'm going to go through the patches, explain what they are and how I created them. So if you've got a Modwave, you can follow along and sort of see the programming techniques that I've used to help you create your own patches. So we're going to whiz through these now. I'll start off with the Artic Voices. So that's got that kind of wintry feel, like there's something not quite right there, and I quite like that effect. It's recognisable as vocal, but there's something synthetic about it. So that was using a couple. So I was using the choir, but also using this cricket spectrum sound, which produces that sort of slightly odd effect on there. So that's Artic Voices. Then we've got just a traditional choir. So handy whenever you need those choirs. So we've got a falsetto and an Arr choir in there. So these are using the built-in samples. There's no additional samples needed for this collection. These are all using the built-in samples. So we've got a ooh-oh choir, and you can see from the screen there that I'm actually using a waveform to switch between the two oscillators, giving this effect. So quite a nice effect when it does that. One we've got called Drama Choir, which is using two layers. So we've got that choir you just heard, and we've also got a timpani and another additional choir to give it some depth. That one, you can hear it slightly clipping, so I just need to turn those levels down a little bit. But a nice dramatic one on there. Tron Choir is using Mellotron Choir, so that was the tape-based, kind of like a sampler really from the 1960s. Think the flute on Strawberry Fields, Genesis Watch of the Skies. It had tape choirs. Genesis used it. Bands used it in the 70s, especially prog type stuff. And we've got the two choirs on there. This one called Flutter, which is using a bit of multi-filtering. So the multi-filter is a great filter on the Modwave where you can have a high pass or a combination of anything really. But I'm using a combination of a high pass and a low pass, and using the crossfade to crossfade between them. So, and you'll hear like a fluttery sound, and that's because I'm using the arpeggiator. So it's giving a really nice effect there. You've got the choir, but you've got that So that sound panning around as well. I'm using some panning as well to move it around. One using a Formant style vocal, using Wavestation samples actually. So vocal-like, but very digital. And we've got another one of those. So the other one was the lead one, and this is more for the chords. And you can see that's not using a sample, that's using a wavetable. This one is called Fresh Breath, inspired by a patch on the Korg Karma, which I've got over there. So I sort of recreated that. And this again uses the multi-filter. You can hear that sweeping on the crossfade between the low pass and the high pass. And there's some release on there as well. Like a reverse envelope on key release. We've got a high pass vocoder choir. So you can hear that high pass at the start. Then it opens out the filter. Quite like that one because if you're mixing other tracks, it is quite high and it doesn't take a lot of the track space. You get that vocal in there. Then we've got Ice Piano Choir. And I quite like this one because it's got a choir in there, obviously. We've got the piano as well. And then we've got that high kind of sound that kicks in. Which you can see there, I'm just using a sawtooth, but you know, a high sawtooth. Which is in the same layer as the piano. Then we've got an LFO choir, so this is choir modulated by the LFO. So in that case, the envelope the LFO speed is being controlled by the envelope. So you can see the amp envelope. So that gives us that sort of effect of the LFO slowing down. This one, I was creating this vocal sound and I ended up creating this monosynth lead sound, and it sounded just like a Korg. A mini Korg, actually. I've got the mini Korg plugin in the Korg collection, so that's when I think that's what it reminds me of, so that's what I've called it. So I create it as a split. So in the lower part, you've got the vocal pad, which is using Mellotron and the vocoder voice, and the right hand is using a mono pulse width to get the. And there's a lot of pitch modulation going on as well. This one is called Open Mind. the idea behind this one is you've got vocal sound, but you've also got a string ensemble sound. This is using a single layer as well, which means you can use the other layer to do other things. So you've got the string ensemble there and that vocal. Now we've got a pitched vocal, so we're using a pitch envelope. To give that sort of pitch envelope effect. Replicant Choir. And the idea behind that one is it's synthetic. There's no sample. It's using a single layer on this one and a single oscillator as well. So we're using the vocal wavetable to produce that effect. Rhythms vocal. So using an LFO to create that effect. It's tempo synced. And a string sound layer as well. This one is sidechain vocal, so it's kind of inspired by, sometimes you hear that sort of sidechain effect where the kick drum is compressing the other tracks, and so I've tried to get that effect by using a LFO on the vocal. So there is no sidechain compression going on because it doesn't do that. But what I did, if I take out the kick, you can see I'm using a saw down just to get that effect. I actually use a crossfade between a low pass and a high pass. So it's not muting it, it's actually changing the filter type. Does it work? I don't know, let me know in the comments. This one I call Slice Fox. Because this one is using the motion sequencer, and you can see the shapes laying there with the levels. So the sequence A is oscillator 1, sequence B is oscillator 2. It gives you a nice sort of digital rhythm to that as well. And you can play about with these levels and these shapes to get that however you want. Now this is the one I demonstrated at the beginning, the Soundscape Choir. And the other version, the double, which is just a dual layer. So this is the single layer version of it. And switching between the gospel and the gospel R is LFO 1, which is in a sine wave. Switching between those layers, and the double one is the same thing, but I've just doubled it up with an additional extra few samples as well to give that, really emphasize that effect. And hear that sort of air coming in. That's from one of the samples. I think that will be the pop R or the pop U. I really like how it switches between those layers, and that's this is what started me on this collection. It's quite ethereal, This is what I wanted to demonstrate at the beginning. This is called They Get There, and it's because they're all out of tune, and then they get there. And that's just using envelopes on the tunings, but it's got a nice eerie effect as they start off out of tune and end up in tune. And you can change the speed they do that by just controlling these envelopes. It's using oscillator one's envelope, so you can see starting out pitch and goes to pitch. Tiny Android is another one inspired by the Korg Karma, actually. Two layers on this one, essentially the same sound with two layers. One's got a phaser, one's got a chorus on it. And we're using the VP vocoder for that and transposing it to give it that effect. If I just put the phaser version on, you can hear it. It sounds quite good, but then when I do the chorus one, it opens up the stereo field. So that's Tiny Android. Tron Choir is another Mellotron. A clean one this time because it's just a single tape, or tape choir one. Vangelis, I should mention as well, although I've put on the notes on this one, this supports poly after touch. Most support poly after touch. If they support mod through the mod wheel, they also support poly after touch as well. So this is Vangelis Choir because we've got a CS80 type brass sound in there and the vocoders as well, so that's where I got that inspiration from. This one is a vector choir. The idea behind this is the wave state or the Wavestation have got the vector controller, the little joystick, so you can switch between different sample layers. So we can do something similar on the Modwave by using the Chaos pad to control those switching of those layers. So you can see I've got two layers, and the Y does one and the X does the other. So down here we've got one sound, up there for another, up there, and we go in the middle, we get the roll. And if you put some motion in it, you can control exactly, but I did it with the motion so it's like a joystick. But you could control the amount of gravity and placement on the inertia on the Chaos pad if you wanted to play around with that one. So you can change the physics. So I used the center dent, kind of like a joystick, but it does center return, but you could play about with that one as well. You get some movement in the sound. It's called Voice Wave. And that's because the sample name, it's a nice sort of digital sounding vocal there. Vocoder and vocoder vocals and a real choir. Takes quite a while for them all to come in, but it's got a nice big sound on that one. Waves Choir, you've got the crashing wave sounds on there. Give you a nice atmospheric sound. and a couple of Wavestation ones. I couldn't resist putting these in. Airvox. So a recreation of the preset. Same with this one. With the extra layering that you can hear. And then the Wavestation Choir, pretty much like the M1 Choir as well. Wavetable Arr, because we're using a bit of wavetabling. I'm using the AIEOU wavetable. If you change the position of the wavetable, you'll change the valve sound. So you can play around with that one. We could put a bit of modulation on that as well. And whispering vocal. Using the samples whisper, but you can hear I'm using some modulation to switch those in and out. Single layer on that one. So that's the vocal collection. A nice atmospheric set of patches. I really enjoyed doing those, and it shows what a versatile instrument the Modwave is. We're not there's more samples in this than other collection, but like I said at the start, there's no external samples using. These are all the internal ones, so it's a nice small install. So easy to install. Download the zip file from thedigitalLifestyle.com, unzip it, go to your Librarian, go to import, browse for the file that the bundle file that I provide you, and open that up and import it in, and it'll be straight in the Modwave. Thanks for watching this video. If you like these sounds, please like and subscribe. If you've got any ideas for other sound collections, please let me know. I'm always interested to hear what people want, and it inspires me to do more collections. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.